Hello there, hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos. So, as I have been updating you on a regular basis regarding Bruno Fernandes, as what I said, before, my perception now is totally a comparison, because I feel as though now Manchester United are not going to be signing Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, so I do believe the deal is dead in the water. Well, obviously, reflecting on narratives that were coming out on Friday, it was looking very imminent that Bruno Fernandes was going to be our first signing in this January transfer window, and it was looking likely he was going to be our fourth signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because we identified him as our number one priority target, and we was seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I updated you, reports were coming out from Sky Sports on Friday saying that Man United are close to signing Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. It did say, the deal is worth up to around 60 million. Man United did pay around 43 million pounds up front, with 17 million in potential add-ons. But, this has been a stumbling block of Bruno Fernandes' proposed move to Man United as actually, being the fee, because Man United and Sporting Lisbon cannot come to an agreement on a fee. A lot of reports from the Portuguese press earlier on this week, we're saying that Man United have agreed personal terms with Bruno Fernandes, and he's agreed around £120,000 a week contract, but no fee has come to an agreement. I think our representatives were in Portugal not too long ago, to obviously hold further more negotiations, because Man United actually wanted to sign Bruno Fernandes before Bruno Fernandes played for Sporting Lisbon against Benfica. There was reports emerging out prior to that game that Bruno Fernandes was saying that he didn't want to play for Sporting Lisbon against Benfica, but he actually ended up playing, and that was supposed to be his farewell appearance. Now the Sporting Lisbon bosses give his more overarching view on it, and he says he doesn't know if that was the last game that Bruno Fernandes played. There's a possibility chance that Bruno Fernandes could play for Sporting Lisbon against Braga next week. But now I don't think we're going to get him, because, like I said, the reports were emerging out from a lot of media outlets yesterday, but I read it in the BBC, and the BBC is a very reliable source, and Simon Stone, of course, is from the BBC, and he tends to be reliable the vast majority of the time, and he said Man United's attempt to sign Bruno Fernandes has currently stalled, because, Sporting Lisbon have said, they want around 80 million euros, which equates to around 68 million in pounds sterling. But Man United are not determined to, pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding, basically. We're only willing to pay 44 or 45 million up front. He did say we was willing to offer around 25 million in add-ons, but these add-ons would only be activated if Bruno Fernandes won the Ballon d'Or, or if we won the Premier League or the Champions League, which is extremely unlikely to happen. So I think, from a Sporting Lisbon perspective, they were unhappy with the structure of the offer. So I think, talks will resume, because, we've been in negotiations, since the other week, when, Sporting Lisbon's president Federico Fernandes and Bruno Fernandes' agent, of course, had come to England. So talks have been going on since then. But at one point, negotiations were at an advanced stage, but we just cannot come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon. I know there was reports saying that he could be in the stands for the game against Liverpool today. That's obviously now not going to materialise. If he was going to make his debut today against Liverpool, it said we'd had to sign Bruno Fernandes on Friday. That's just gone by 12 p.m. So yeah, we're not going to get Bruno Fernandes now. And George Mendes, to be fair, he's been working on getting Bruno Fernandes' transfer to Man United completed. He's been working on it, because he was in the director's box, don't forget, spectating the Man United Wolves game. He was also, in London, was it, on Tuesday, so he's been working hard on the deal. There was reports emerging out saying that, Marcus Rojo could be part of the deal, because, we actually got Rojo from Sporting Lisbon back, was it, in 2014 or 2015 for around £16 million. So Sporting Lisbon wanted him as part of the deal. There was rumours saying that Andres Pereira could be a part of the deal. This is what it basically had said. But he said if we'd have got him anyway, it would have been a straight cash deal. But we've been relentlessly linked with Bruno Fernandes. We was relentlessly linked to him last season. We was relentlessly linked with him last summer. But, the main explanation why we didn't get him last summer is because, again, we wasn't willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation, because last summer Sporting Lisbon said we want around 70 million. We only valued him at around 50 million pounds. Spurs went in for him last summer. I think they offered around 45 million pounds. I think his preference last summer was a move to Tottenham. I think City were in for him. Well, City were close to getting him at one point last summer. Liverpool went in for Bruno Fernandes. But he's made it clear as Bruno Fernandes that he wants to leave Sporting Lisbon to, take his footballing career to the next level. Because I did say now, I think if he came to the Premier League, he'd exceed expectations in the Premier League, reflecting on what he's done in his couple of years with Portugal. Don't forget, Bruno Fernandes got his contract extended in November last year. I do presume that's reflecting on his good run of performances that he's done for Sporting Lisbon. And obviously, when he was younger, he spent the entirety of his career in Italy, and he's only at the age of 25. And, don't forget, Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players into the football club like he did do last summer. And as it stands at the moment, we have got a lot of young players in the team. But I said, Bruno Fernandes would have been a great addition to the squad, because he's a player that can provide goals in midfield. He can create chances. He's pretty good in the air. His pass accuracy is very, very good. So, and I said, he would have complemented Paul Pogba and McTominay in our midfield, and he would have dramatically improved us in our midfield. I know Bruno Fernandes alone isn't enough, and obviously, more signings are needed. I think we need around at least 4 or 5 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and if we are, to be up there challenging for major honours. But, now we're not going to get Bruno Fernandes by the looks of things. So now who should Manchester United sign after, missing out on Bruno Fernandes? Now, obviously, there's still a lot of talks going on regarding James Maddison from Leicester. Again, I'm very, very sceptical that we're going to sign James Maddison in this January transfer window, because Brendan Rodgers came out not too long ago and he said that, James Maddison will not be sold in this January transfer window. I'm very sceptical from now. From now on, he will spend the entirety of his career with Leicester. I think at some point in his future, he will move on, but I think he'll definitely stay at Leicester in this January transfer window. So I do believe that James Maddison is actually, a target for the summer transfer window for Man United. I like James Maddison a lot. Obviously, he's going to cost us a substantial amount. The club would probably have to pay around 70 or 80 million pounds to get him on the board. So probably would have to pay the exact same fee or a similar fee to what we paid for Harry Maguire. But Leicester know how much of an imperative player that James Maddison is. Obviously, we're in search for a number 10, basically, because we haven't got a player that we can rely on who plays in that number 10. Well, we've got a few players that can operate in that number 10, but, they're not reliable enough. I think they are liability. You've got Pereira that can operate in the number 10. You've got Lingard that can operate in the number 10, and you've got Juan Mata that can operate in the number 10. Juan Mata's done well in his last couple of games, and I think analysing the vast majority of his career with Man United, he's done well. We paid £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014, so Juan Mata is now into his 6th season at the football club, and I think he's made over 200 odd appearances for Man United. But he's lost that yard of pace now, and he doesn't really get in the team anymore. And he's around, 32 or 33. But James Maddison, definitely, he'd be the right calibre player, to rely on as our number 10. There was reports coming out a couple of weeks ago, earlier on this month, saying that, Man United offered around £45 million for James Maddison. And it said, we was willing to offer Jesse Lingard as part of the deal. Obviously, I knew that wouldn't convince Leicester to offload him. Jesse Lingard is totally comparison to James Maddison. Jesse Lingard so far from up until now has spent the entirety of his career with Man United. And he's been at Man United, for absolutely years. And, Solskjaer said that, before, he's been at Man United a lot of years. He thinks, Jesse Lingard will come back to his best again, because he's had some good spells as a Man United player, but analysing him for the vast majority of this season, he's been very inconsistent. Lingard's recently been out of illness. He was also injured earlier on in the season, so I think Man United need to start dropping Jesse Lingard more. But James Maddison is predominantly an attacking midfielder, 23 years of age. He plays out wide though now, because he's been playing out wide, for the vast majority of the time, since Brendan Rodgers got recommended in. He's currently now into his 2nd season with Leicester. he's replicating what he did in his first season with Leicester, because last season, don't forget, James Maddison created more chances than any other player in the Premier League, and I think he's still got around 3 years left on his contract with Leicester. Leicester paid around £20 million for him from Norwich in the summer of 2018. So now maybe with us missing out on Bruno Fernandes, we are focusing on getting James Maddison on the board. But we're not only in search for an attacking midfielder, we're also in search for a defensive midfielder. But, you know, the only midfielders we can rely on at this moment in time is Fred. I'd give Fred more time at the football club. You know, I know Man United overpaid for him that. You know, we paid £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk in the summer of 2018. But I'd give him more time. I think he still hasn't really replicated what he did at Shakhtar Donetsk, because he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk. But, you know, I think, you know, recently he has really rejuvenated himself as Fred. Pereira, I've got an element of concerns about. He's another one of our midfielders. Matic, I think he's definitely inconsistent. We overpaid for Matic. We paid £40 million for Nemanja Matic from Chelsea. And of course, with now Fosu Mensah being back, as Solskjaer's confirmed, he's been considered for that midfield role. But I think Solskjaer may, you know, when he plays, put him at right back, because he can actually, you know, play him as a right back and Fosu Mensah, because he is versatile. Yeah, he's versatile. I give you the news the other day regarding Boubakary Soumaré from Lille. Now, he's another player that Manchester United are in for. Now, it did say he's set to make a decision of what his next club's going to be, I think after the 26th of January. So he's going to decide, you know, whether to sign for Man United and Chelsea. He's Boubakary Soumaré. You know, he's a very, very good player. What I've seen of some of his stats, you know, he can play as a central or a defensive midfielder. He's 28 years of age. He's a box-to-box midfielder. Well, he's been operating in that box-to-box role this season for Lille, and he's been revelation. So maybe people now reflect on these good performances. He would be good enough for the Premier League. I think he's got around 2.5 years left on his deal with Lille. Other clubs were in for him as well. It said Arsenal were in for him, Real Madrid were in for him, and Valencia were in for him. But reportedly now they've opted out of the race for him. So he's another midfielder on our current agenda. Obviously, you know, Jack Grealish, you know, Man United are still interested in him. Dean Smith, the Aston Villa boss, gave his overarching view on it. It was around quite a while back now, I think it was, or a few weeks ago. Dean Smith said that Jack Grealish will not be sold in this January window. I think if Jack Grealish is to leave Aston Villa, it's more imminent it will be in the summer rather than in this January transfer window. Jack Grealish is 24 years of age. He's got a contract with Villa till 2023. I also believe Tottenham have been long admirers of the player. You know, Jack Grealish has spent the majority of his career, well, the entirety of his career with Aston Villa. You know, he's been a Villa player since the age of 6 when he got into their youth academy. You know, he made his senior debut in 2014. And he's a very, very good player. Is Jack Grealish. Can play as an attacking mid, can also play as a winger. You know, and I think he also had a loan spell with Notts County. So he's another player Man United are in for. So I think you've got to say he's probably a summer transfer target. There's still a lot of reports regarding Declan Rice. Now, he's predominantly a holding midfielder, is Declan Rice, but he can also be deployed as a centre-back, but predominantly a defensive midfielder. Now, reports were coming out not too long ago saying that, you know, we're considering making a move for him in the summer. It won't be in this January transfer window. He said, you know, Solskjaer had instructed one of his personal scouts to go watch Declan Rice when they played Sheffield United the other week. Sheffield United won by 1-0. Declan Rice is only 21 years of age. He currently plays for West Ham. You know, he's been at West Ham for quite some time now. He's got a long-term contract with them until 2024. In the Premier League for West Ham, he has made 83 appearances in the Premier League, and he's made around 92 appearances in all competitions. So, do you think, you know, he would be the right player? Because Declan Rice, his distribution seems to be good. He can break up the play, and I do believe he would be able to complement our midfield. He's well proven in the Premier League. He initially learned his trade in the Premier League because before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was never in their senior squad though. He began his youth career with Chelsea, and I think he was in their youth academy for several years. So he's another midfielder on our agenda. Obviously, there was reports coming out about Marcos Llorente from Atletico Madrid. It says Man United are considering getting him on loan until the end of the season. Because obviously he served his 2 requirements at Atletico Madrid. This is his first season with Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid got him last summer from Real Madrid for around £35 million. And I think he's only started around 3 games this season, but he's behind the likes of Sol Niguez in the Atletico Madrid team, another player Man United have been in for. He's behind the likes of Coke, he's behind Hector Herrera, so he's struggling to get him in the team. He's 24 years of age, he's Marcos Llorente, he's only 24 years of age. But so Man United have also been in for him, and I think he can... He could play as a central or defensive midfielder. So yeah, there's a lot of midfielders on our agenda, because that midfield is one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. Because obviously we need a replacement for Paul Pogba, because I'm very convinced that Paul Pogba will leave the football club. Not in this January transfer window, but I think he will leave in the summer. We obviously need an adequate replacement for Ander Herrera. And you can say maybe that was one of the mistakes Man United did make, was getting rid of Ander Herrera, because Ander Herrera endured 5 years at Man United, but I thought he endured a good 3.5, 4 years out of the 5 years he was here. But it infuriated me more that we let Ander Herrera's contract run down, and then we let him go on a free transfer. Obviously, PSG offered him more money, and that. So this is obviously what convinced him to go to Paris Saint-Germain. He was demanding He was demanding around 200 grand a week off Man United if he had remained at the football club and signed a new contract. But obviously, we weren't determined to meet that, and our wage structure is barmy anywhere at the football club, because as it stands at the moment, we've got a lot of players on big contracts, as you all know. So, we look very exposed in that midfield, following the injuries of Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. Of course, Paul Pogba is out with injury. He's out, I think, until the end of this month, or he's out until earlier February. Paul Pogba's got an ankle injury. He's been out, he initially did come back, but he's just, another injury's occurred. Solskjaer revealed that this ankle injury is totally comparison to the one he had before, because he was out before for around 3 months with an ankle injury with Pogba, but not too long ago he had the operation on his ankle, did Paul Pogba. I think he's going to be leaving the football club in the summer. Solskjaer did say he's convinced he will not be sold in this January transfer window, but even if we sell Paul Pogba in the summer, I think, we can still generate a substantial amount for his departure. I think we could still get probably around £100 million for him, And analysing the vast majority of his performances at Man United, they've been totally comparison to his ones in Turin, because Paul Pogba endured 4 good years in Turin, don't forget. And there's been rumours recently coming out saying that he could possibly make a return back to Turin. I know last summer he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. He was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid last summer. But his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise, reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we wanted around 150 million. Real Madrid were not willing to meet that. Also, Real Madrid have been trying to, offer maybe 1 or 2 of their players as part of the deal to convince Paul Pogba to join Real Madrid. But his preference last summer was a move to Real Madrid, And, and obviously he's missed the vast majority of our games this season due to injury. But Paul Pogba doesn't want to be at the football club. He revealed this at the beginning of last summer. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to basically leave Manchester United. But my own perception on it... Not yet. My own perception on it, Paul Pogba's disrespecting the club. His agent, Mini Raiola, is disrespecting the club. So I think basically where we do, need to get him out of Manchester United, definitely. I think now Juventus are leading the race for him, because obviously Real Madrid are in for Donny van der Beek. It says, they're close to agreeing a £47 million deal for him, so could make a return back to Turin. Pogba's got around 14, 15 months left on his contract. The club do have an option to extend his contract by a further year. And of course, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. But, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Not only this year, not only in this January transfer window, obviously last summer he was. back under the Jose Mourinho era, there was a lot of reports about him leaving, reflects on the bad relationship he enjoyed with Jose Mourinho, and Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club. So yeah, I do believe he's going to be going in the summer. Is Pogba definitely? But yeah, and Pogba, I think, has made a total of 150 appearances for the club, or is it 151 in all competitions, and scored around 31 goals. But, analysing Pogba at Juventus, I've got to say, he was one of the best midfielders in the world, definitely. He was. But Solskjaer still knows how much of an imperative player he is, and, he's admired him quite a few times. McTominay, I'd keep McTominay at the club. He's damaged the ligaments in his knee, as you all know. It's a shame that McTominay can't play today, and that because McTominay, before he got injured, has been a revelation this season. In regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I'm not too sure about that as yet. The question marks is, can he keep the consistency up, when he does recover from injury? But McTominay sustained quite a few injuries this season. But I think in general anyway, more players need to leave Manchester United this year. I think we need to get rid of another 6 or 7 players, but I think we'll be only determined to get rid of more players this year if incomings are guaranteed, and that. We know obviously Ashley Young has left the football club. He's joined Inter Milan for 1.5 million. Obviously, we wasn't going to get a substantial amount for him because obviously he's 34 years of age now. Nearly 35 in the summer. He's obviously, only signed a short-term contract with Inter Milan. He signed a 6-month deal, but there is an option of a further year. And Inter Milan are getting deadwood from Man United. That's the third player they've now signed offers, because they caught Lukaku and Sanchez offers last summer, don't forget. But obviously, reflecting on Ashley Young leaving, Harry Maguire is now the permanent captain for the club, which is very, very good news, to be fair. And I think that's a good piece of business for Man United, giving Harry Maguire the captaincy, because I think since his arrival from Leicester last summer, he has addressed our defensive deficiencies. And, he's done really, really well as Maguire. So today's game against Liverpool will be his first game as captain. He is the permanent captain by the way. But Solskjaer's reacted to that, and I think he's very delighted. But he also praised Ashley Young. He says he was a good servant to the club. He won silverware with us. He enjoyed 8.5 years at Man United. This was his current 9th season. And Young made 261 appearances for Man United in all competitions and that. But yeah, it's good that we've got him off the board. But there's still other players that need to go. I think Jones needs to go. Possibly, Jones could go to Inter Milan as well and reunite with Ashley Young, Lukaku and Sanchez. Jones being a long-serving player with the club. I think we need to get rid of Rojo. We need to get Matic out of the club. He could also possibly go to Italy. Get Jesse Lingard out. I think the club need to loan Chon out. There's a lot of United fans saying, we should get rid of Luke Shaw. So there's still definitely more players that need to leave the football club without a shadow of a doubt. But Italy, has been a very popular destination for the vast majority of our players, because the vast majority of our players have gone to Italy. A lot of them went to Italy last summer. And of course, Ashley Young has gone to Inter Milan. So he's the first player to leave Man United this year and that. So, as you saw earlier on, I give you a bit more team news building up to Liverpool Man United game. It has been confirmed Marcus Rashford's out. He wasn't with a part of the squad at the hotel, ahead of the game against Liverpool. So Rashford has not travelled, with the rest of the squad to Merseyside. I think Solskjaer's named around the 21-man squad for the game against Liverpool. Now, Rashford's got a back injury. I don't know how severe the injury is, to be quite honest with you. So I don't know whether he's going to be available against Burnley, Rashford or not, I don't know. But he sustained a back injury in the 1-0 win against the Wolves. And, I'm hopeful that this injury is not too severe. And, players are now coming back from injury, but now more players are coming back. More injuries are coming onto the horizon. Rashford has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player, but he's been one of our best players this season. Well, for the vast majority of this season.
It's a big one, fella.
I know.
So what do you think it'll be?
3-1.
What?
3-1. To Liverpool. he's been in scintillating form as Rashford this season for us, and he's on 63 senior goals for the football club since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016, and on around 18 goals in all competitions this season. But a lot of aspects of Rashford's game has improved. So now, obviously, with Rashford being out today, we're going to have to, find a way how to, beat Liverpool without one of our best players on the pitch, basically. But yeah, it's confirmed Rashford is definitely out. Pogba and McTominay out. Rojo and Tuanzebe are still both out. But Bay and Fosu-Mensah are available, as Solskjaer's confirmed. Bay was out with a knee injury since pre-season, and he's very injury prone, is Eric Bay. So he could be involved today. I don't think he'll start though, because our first choice centre-halves are Lindelof and Maguire. Bay's been playing for the under-23s. Fosu-Mensah's also been playing for the under-23s. So it's good now that they are both back. Also, Diego Dalot's back. Luke Shaw. Solskjaer still views Luke Shaw as one of the best fullbacks in England, because he has been a good fullback over the years as Luke Shaw for us. Obviously now with Brandon Williams coming onto the horizon, Solskjaer views him as his first choice left back, Brandon Williams. But Brandon Williams has done really, really well. So he's my preference definitely over Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's injury prone. He's just returned back to training because he's had an hamstring problem. I think Luke Shaw has also had illness. But we want to win this game today against Liverpool. And we are aware of how much of a difficult game this is going to be. Solskjaer's come out and said, it won't take Man United another 30 years to win a Premier League title, because Liverpool are on course to win their first Premier League title ever and are on course to win their first ever one overall for 30 years. And he also says, Liverpool need to win multiple titles to be one of the greatest teams in the division. And he says Liverpool have not yet matched our side under Alex Ferguson. So he's come out with quite a few interesting comments as Solskjaer. But, Liverpool are the only team that are undefeated so far this season in the Premier League. We're the only team that have taken any points from them this season. It was 1-1 Old Trafford earlier on in the season. In that particular game, Solskjaer reverted to 3 at the back. I think, his formation will be comparison, today to the one at Old Trafford. I think today he'll go with the 4-2-3-1 formation, because he has been going at 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season as Solskjaer. But, Liverpool have won 20 games out of 21. I think they've got a game in hand over Man City. Or is it 2 games in hand? City dropped points yesterday. They drew with Crystal Palace 2-2. But Liverpool have won 20 out of 21. They're unbeaten in 38 Premier League games. So if they win today, they'll extend their unbeaten run to 39. And they're unbeaten in 51 Premier League games at Anfield. So they haven't lost at Anfield for almost 3 years. Liverpool, I think, have registered, if I'm right, around 60-odd points out of 21 games, where Liverpool, of course, are breaking their records. But now a lot of people are starting to believe Liverpool can replicate what Arsenal did back in 2004. They can go a whole Premier League season without losing one game. Arsenal are the only team that have done that in the Premier League area at the moment, gone undefeated in the whole season. But Liverpool could possibly replicate that. But Liverpool are, 13 points ahead of City, 16 points ahead of Leicester, are there? I think Leicester play at Burnley today. But even if we were to win this game against Liverpool today, I still think, Liverpool will definitely win the Premier League title, because obviously, the league is their priority, definitely. But, Liverpool and Man United is the biggest game in English football. They are the 2 most successful clubs in England historically. Obviously, Solskjaer is aware at the moment that, we're not at that level as we should be in. We're nowhere near on City's level or Liverpool's level, and it's going to take us several years to get to their current level. But, you never know. And obviously, the game last season at Anfield was 3-1. Reflects on that game that ended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Jose Mourinho's 2.5-year tenure at Man United. And we haven't won at Anfield since 2016. So in recent years, our record at Anfield hasn't been too good. And this is Solskjaer's 3rd game as manager against Liverpool, because obviously the 2 games when he's been manager were both draws at Old Trafford, but this is his first appearance at Anfield as Man United manager, so it's going to be interesting to see how he approaches this game. He said he's found a way how to beat Liverpool, basically. This is what he said. Liverpool have got some players back from injury, like I said, Fabinho's back, Joe Matip is back, but they've still got Lovren, Milner and Naby Keita out with injury. But Liverpool themselves have also had a lot of injuries this season. But gonna say, really looking forward to the game. Going to watch it later on. So that's everything to update you with. Like I said, I give you the news at the beginning of the video about Fernandes. I don't think he's now coming to Man United. So who should Man United sign now? So drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do. Consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.